So the Yidden together with the Malachim give the Eibishter a Keser. And that's in Achtorah, the Yidden are Machter the Eibishter. Achtorah Nases B'Rosh Hashanah, Elish Rosh Hashanah Hu B'Keser. All the non-Rosh Hashanah, which are Nimshach Rosh Hashanah, are B'Hes Almus, B'Helim. Yem Chageinu, that's when it's Hizgalus. B'Suk is Babi Gilus. So Keser Yidden L'cha, that's the Hizgalus of the Achtorah, which is Nimshach Rosh Hashanah. So the Etzem Achtorah is affected Rosh Hashanah, and then it's Hizgalus on Sukkos. B'Zeu Inin Ulkachtem L'chem B'Yem Arishin. בחורים קצת יש בשוקת בא בגילוי וזהו הנה so the הקטר comes בגילוי וזהו הנה לקחתם לכם ביום הראשון איסי בספרדים מה שבשעת לקחתם לכם ביום הראשון ואיסי בספרדים ביום הראשון בגמטריה כסר so Keser is the Achtorah. So what's what Kach Mulchem Be'em Arishin? Visha Oz, but Achtorah Begilui. Why is Sukkot called Yem Arishin? Because then it's the Galus of Keser. Gilui HaKeser. But the Kicha de Be'em Arishin, he prays Hadar. What's the Kicha Be'em Arishin? Which is prays Hadar, Kapis Tmorim, V'anaf Yisrael Tzvar Ben Ochsen. And then Bashtet is Galus of the Achtorah. Through what expresses the Achtorah, they didn't, the fact that Yemshe became a Melech, that's Nizgale through the Lekich of the Dalad Minim. L'kachtem Lechem Be'em Arishin. Yem Arishin is Keser. That's the Gilui Achtorah. And in Vas Bashtet, the Gilui of the Achtorah, that there's the Lekich of the Dalad Minim. Tzarech L'havin Loma Nifchru Minim Elu Davke. Shal Yodam Davke Yi Gilui Achtorah. Why is the fact that the Eibishter is because it's Chadash of the Amshachas Amlucha, why is it expressed Davke in these 4 Minim? Gam Shemavur HaTamazeh. In Chassidus. Because these Dalad Minim Elu Meirim Ala Achtos. Yesh Aved L'chag Kesugis Ba B'Hamshach L'Aved L'Rosh Hashanah. L'Zayis. K'mei Rosh Hashanah Ksiv Atem Nisav Mayim Kolchem L'Chadim Ke'echat. It's in of Achtos. We already explained the Maimer before. The Maimer of Shira Mailis. Achtos has to do with Keser. In of Achtorah is there's Galus of the Rei Musa Etzem, and inside the Rei Musa Etzem there's no Eschalkos. There's a Bitla Eschalkos. There's the Hergish Aliki B'Shave by Yeshechem Sheftechem and Biz Chaydi V'Sech V'Shev Yemecha. Everything's Bashva. So since Sukkot is the Galus of the Achtos Rosh Hashanah, so L'chein, Rosh Hashanah is in of Achtos, L'chadim Ke'echat, K'mekin Gam Aved L'chag Sukkot in of Achtos, and that's why it's Dafke B'Dalet Minim Elu, because Dalet Minim Elu Dafke Shemeirim Al Achtos. So Zeh B'chlal, the Bria consists of Ribui. The world is division and Eschalkas and Ribui, and Dafke in these 4 Minim you find the Nekuda of Achtos. So that's the Bria V'Shteit Chassidus. Since what does Achtos have to do with Achtoras HaMelech? Because mitzad the Achtoras HaMelech, there's this Achtos of all the different sugim. In Bnei Yisrael, there's this Achtos in all the Inyanim in Welt, and V'meile, this Galus HaAchtos is through the Inyan of Dalad Minim, which is also Minim which are made al Achtos. Oh, there effect as Rashayim. Why? Because these Dalad Minim don't express ultimate Achtos. The Achtos of the Rosh Hashanah is L'chadim Ke'echad. Even though there's Rashayim, there's 10 sugim. Rashayim, what's the Lashon of sugim? There's Rashayim and there's Chaytevit. There's the other 10 sugim. But it's the same Nekuda. All the 10 sugim, their Inyan is the same Nekuda of L'chadim Ke'echad, the same Nekuda of Havaya Echad. They're all standing with the same bittul. The same bittul, which is Neveim, it's Mitzad is Galus HaEtzem, so Sai Rashayim Shiftechem, and Sai Chaytevit V'Sech V'Shev Yemecha, but they all have the same bittul, the same Nekuda of Dveikus to the Eibishter. It's all Bashva. So it's all one Nekuda. There's one same Nekuda which is Chayder, the Etzem which is Chayder, Sai Rashayim Shiftechem, Sai Chaytevit V'Sech. I've explained the Maimer before. Not only the Etzem is Chayder, mitzad the fact that all the 10 minim are Natnu of Helah. They're bottled, they're mafshit themselves from their tzir. Mitzad is Galus HaEtzem, even the way each target, Bnei Yisrael, is in their tzir. Rashayim is Netzir of Rashayim, and there's Zeknechem, Shetrechem, Sheftechem, everybody is in their tzir. Aval Bekain, the Etzem is mayor by each of them Bashva. And their bittul to the Etzem is each one Bashva, even the way they are standing in their mitzias. But Akapanav, the point over here is it's one Nekuda. There's the same Hergesh of bittul to the Kavana al Yene B'Shave by all dargis of Bnei Yisrael. Mash'enkin, when we speak about the Achtos Dalad Minim, the Nekuda Dalad Minim is not that there's one Nekuda. There's one and the same Nekuda in all. Dalad Minim is that even though there's differences, the differences could be combined. They could handle each other. Not that there's one and the same Nekuda in all. That's the Rebbe Shayla. Amaret Rashayim Shifte Kolchem Dachad the Achtos of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. There's one Nekuda. This same, usually in order for there to be one nekuda of pshitis, darf the tzir is battle ver. Mitzad the hergisha etzem, so this same bittul is cheder and permeates the tachtan, even the way the tachtan is in his mitzias. So it's bittul to the lukus. The same bittul of Mesiras Nefesh, let's say, is bashva by the Rashichem Sheftechem and by all dargas of Bnei Yisrael. So it's one and the same nekuda. And how is this act supposed to be expressed? It's supposed to be in Isgala and Chag HaSukkos. And therefore, Shlish says we take dafka these dal benim because they express achtus. But it's a different type of achtus l'chur. That's the shayla. Let me say. Means there is division. It's not one and the same nekuda. There's differences. There's different points. Where do you see there's no ribi beis chalkos? In the Aveda Rishon and Kippur, there's no nekuda ribi beis chalkos. There's no specific sound that you need mitzat ki yasher. All kelis are kosher. So that means shekol hakelis ksherim b'shefer means that it's not negea the specific kel, the specific tzir of the kel. It's the etzem tnuah of pshitus. It's the etzem tnuah of a yid beyond tam v'das, beyond tzir, that he gives himself over to the Eibishter. You say, where's the musik of chalkas and kel? You say in Chassidus that Kail is when there's a certain amshacha of seichel umidis, it's expressed in the voice. The words are already the breaking down the voice, but the voice when a person when he's in a tnu of say aves, so the voice is going to be more of a voice of rachos of kiruv. When he's in a tnu of gvuris, so the voice expresses gvuris. Person's bekas, so his voice comes out in a way of kas. Or divli chacham benachas tishmayim. So the kail is according to the davar which is nimshach hakel. The kail is a certain nisgalas hanefesh. According to what's being nisgala, that's what type of voice is going to be nisgala. According to which midah the voice is expressing, that's what the nature of the voice is going to be. The fact that kol hakel kshein b'shefer is if shefer would be a bittul talakosa which was nevei and tam v'das, so it would be a certain, it would be negeh what type of hergish you're a certain type of hergish, and it would nisbat in a certain type of kail. We say kol hakel kshein b'shefer because it's not. It's the inner of kol hashefer is the bittul of a yid to the Eibush or the tzayka, the gagum of yid to the Eibush, which stems from his primis haneshama. The primis haneshama that a yid's one with the Eibush there. Not the way it's mitzad the tam v'das and mitzad seichel v'asag, where there's this chiluk between each person, and there's already negeh what type of hergish he's having. It's the nekuda primis of the which is the bittul of yid that is etzem haneshama to the Eibush. So there it's the same bittul that every yid there you say there's a child and parents. So you have, each one has a different heritage and different asaga, but in the kudas hakesher and the kesher atzmi, there everything's bashva. So al derech zeh, since shefer is the kola prima of the child, that is kaira abba, the kesher atzmi between yid and the Eibishter. So there the specific kail, the different siyurim of the kail is not negeh, it's not tevis makim. So it's the etzem nekudas the kesher apashut and the rotzen pashut of a yid to the Eibishter. So the tzir prati of the kailas are not negeh. So you see that the Kodesh Hashanah is not an Aveda, which there's no shinu, there's no schalkus. When you're dealing with the Kesher Atzmi, the Eibishter, the fact that the Neshama is one with the Eibishter, there it's by all Yidin Bashva. And the fact that a Yid, from the very fact that he's a Yid, he doesn't want to be separated from the Eibishter. Not because how much he appreciates and he understands Gadol Hashem. The fact that since he has a Neshama, so therefore he's one with the Eibishter and he can't be separated. That every Yid has it Bashva. The Nekuda that Yid is Chilek Hamid Ma'amamish. And that's what's expressed in Kel Shefer. That's where the measure of the voice, this type or that type, is not tevis makim. The nekuda is the etzem tnuah of wanting the Eibishter. The pshit is the tnuah. That's Meged Rosh Hashanah. So there's no enough riba beis chalkos. Al derech says Meged Yom Kippur. The Aveda is big day bad. The Aveda the Kohen Gadol was the Avedas miyuchades of the Yom. Yeah, the Kohen Gadol also worked the big day zav. When I confirm that was. The Kohen Gadol used big desire for the Avedas of Yom Kippur. Also, there's the Aveda Tmidis should be called Yom V'Yom. Yeah, for the Aveda Tmidis of called Yom, for the Tamid and for the Ketaitis, whatever they did every day, so that the Kohen Gadol used big desire. But for the Avedas Miyuchadis of Yom Kippurim, the Par, the Soy, and all those pratim, they used big day lovin. The big day lovin were all made out of flax, pishtan, big day bad. They're all made from big day bad. The pasuk says a couple of times. Yeah, it's nefes ba. What does it say over there? It doesn't just say stam bechlat big day bad. It says big day bad kedesh yilba shemichnes bad yil absari avnit bad yakim. It's nefes bad a couple of times. Bad. What's that say special with flax? So the Frierdiker Rebbe is from the middle of the Rebbe actually. Bad bevat shemeir alachtos. I think Shnit says that the only tzemach, the only plant that grows, that from each garden comes one stalk. How's it called? The stem, the kone of flax. From each garden comes one kone. Any other tzmicha. So from one zera you could have kama, say a couple of kanim grow from it, from one zera. From flax, from each garden comes one stem. From one stalk of stalk is the piece, or stalk is a bundle. No, none of us know. Please. Okay, everybody's quiet. No one wants to make a mistake. Good. So maybe that shows an achtus. The fact that in other zrayim from one zera comes a ribui, it means that it divides. It divides and it comes in different ways. It could be expressed this way, it could be expressed that way. A couple of from the garden of the bad, one stem comes out. So it's an akud of achtus. It doesn't give space for ribui. It doesn't give space for division. Each garden has his stock that grows from it. That's an akud of achtus.
The fact that it's not that's considered halfish.
No, but a regular, you're saying from but there's a couple of fruits on the tree. From one zera of apple, everything it says on it happens to be that there's also kama pages. I'm saying from one garden of a pri you'll have kama pages. One banana tree, a couple of bananas. That's the of ribui. So the gzera gives space for division and for many, for diversity. To use I don't know if it's so fancy, but English word. Which I don't know if there's in Yiddish is a good word. Good. So there is, but and from each garden comes one stock. That's the nekuda of achtos. Doesn't give space for division and for multiple. Each garden gives one gitaris a nekuda. There's no space for ribui. So the middle Rebbe says that achtos is even that's a bitui to the achtos of yichidush v'nefesh. That it's not the pshat that there is dalet minin. There's a ribui which they're combined. Here, there's one nekuda. There's a yid. The only thing he has is the Eibishter. There's no other mitzvahs. That's what the garden of the Pishtan bring out. Okay, good. So what do we see? Yoshanim Kippur. It's one nekuda. There's no two nekuda. There's no two in Yonim. Every yid experiences the bittul neshama. That's etzem neshama. Because etzem neshama, it's all the same nekuda of bittul to the Eibishter without a tzir of mitzias. There's the only thing is the Eibishter's ratzon. It's not a bittul which is neveya mitzad the seichel v'das v'asog. It's a bittul which stems from his primis neshama, which is one with the primis of alakus. And there it's all the same and one nekuda. The fact that there's an Eibishter. And his mitzias is not l'chatchile. His whole mitzias is the fact that he's bottled to chelik hamim al. So there everything's bashva. Yoshanim Kippur. Shenkin dal minim yeshnein in a ribui. It's pre tzador shadar bilon mishana l'sham. That means that it grows through all the seasons of the year. Means it goes through all the seasons. Every other that's one of the things that expresses the achtos, but every other growth. So it has the season of the year that suits for this fruit. This one's heat is best for its growth. This one moist is best for its growth. And a fruit that thrives most in the heat. So the cold is going to be a stiritit, because kair is a stiritit. Or a fruit that grows mostly in vivacious, so the lachos will be a stira. Esrig, every single season it's able to handle all the different seasons, but every season contributes something in the esrig. Darbi lana mishana l'shan. That all the different seasons, so that's the nekuda of achtos. He's able to grow from every aspect, even the nyanim afachim. So Hanish Yesh Bashinim is Maneshan. He has an nekuda of Yevashis, let's say. He's able to take Yevashis and to grow from it. He's able to take Lachos and grow from it. He's able to take Chaim and grow from it, Ker and grow from it. That's an nekuda of achtos. So the Rebbe is saying, but there is Shinuim as Maneshan. There's winter, there's summer, there's Ker, there's Yevashis. But Kol Azman, means it's able to benefit from all the different types. And every single season is able to contribute in the Esrei. But the Pearl, there's differences. It's not all one of the same. It's not one and the same nekuda. The esrig is able to handle and is able to grow from all these different types of seasons. But you can't say that Kair and Chaim is the same season. It's not the same thing. There's differences, and it's able to handle all the differences. It's able to combine them. That's not the same type of Achdas Shanim Kippur. Shanim Kippur is one Nekuda, one and the same. There's no differences. Say Kol HaKodesh Kshenim B'Shefer. The Nekuda of Kol Shefer is the bittul Pnimi. That's a Manashama where it's the same bittul that every Yid experiences. Same hergish. There's no differences. I'm going to say Chalkos. Making the kapis tomorrow. The Mishamar is also of Kfusim. The leaves are, you see, they're stuck to each other when they get a lulav. So in the Achtos, usually when you have bletlach, you have you say, how do you call them? Olim. So they're divided each one. Here the olim are they grow in a way that they're all bis achtos one with another. They're kofas. So, but it's not the pshat that there's only one olim. Hariyesh by ribi olim. There's a ribi leaves. It's not like when you speak about Neget to Pishtan that there's one kone that comes out of the garden. Here there's a ribi olim. I mean, the whole achtas is that even though you have a ribi, still they're together and they're bound together. Kofas means that they're bound. They're stuck together. The ribi olim. So it's also not like another Kishan in Kippur. We're dealing with Anaf. It's obvious. You have three darten from one kone. Harem shleisha v'lei echad. Chenu ba'arvi nachash agdelim ba'achvar is in a ribi. Actually agdelim ba'achvar. They grow in a way of togetherness. V'lei echad. Be'inyan ha'achdus l'shayach leimar inyan ha'achvar. If we're dealing with something which is only one, it's not shaykh to say that they're in harmony. They're together. If there's only one lechatchila. The part of Gzelim Ba'achva is that even though there's many olim, still they're able to function together. Mishkosav yesh echad gam ben ve'ach einlei. The Rebbe teaches that what's the pshat echad? Echad heis that there's no one else. Not that there's achva heis as Faran etlecha and they're able to. There's a connection between them. Echad is one. It's like upon what's the nekudas from kinner inin adal minimum heipich inin achas dem kippur. Bad bevat inin achas shlilas. Dalid the Rebbe says it's opposite. Dalid it's not stam different. It's opposite achas. Dalid, you see, the Rebbe brings out all the achtos which have in al minim. It's not just a lower level. The whole concept of achtos is only after there's a concept of ribui. You see, the whole what's the achtos of esrei? Not that there's only one thing that is able to handle differences. So there's winter, summer. He grows from all the differences. If there's only one season, that's Chasharei is bringing out the achtos of esrei. The part is that there's a ribui which is able to handle all of them together. And al when we speak when you get to Aravis, for example, or Olim, all the type of achtos is. The whole nature of the achtas is that you have multiple things or diversity which is able to be bound, which is able to work together. So, and that's the opposite of Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur is flax, which flax is echad ve'ein sheini, a one which doesn't give space for multiple, for people. That's the shayla. Yeah, it's verstandig the minion. Oh, so here the Rebbe says, "Hoven zeh tzarich la'akdim chil mashnas bar le'ba mana makaid b'im inyan alimim chalakay hamelech devotei v'zelekay yeshnam bezin yanam afachim." On one hand, the lekay shet nishchonor. The lekay is lashon keach. See when we say Shem Elokim, to mechaven that he's baal keach by yichedes. The lekay means keach. V'shkosav es eli ha'aretz lakach. So on one hand, the lekay is lashon keach. The other hand, the lekay is also lashon elokus, which elokus is inyan ha'er. Elokus means that it's not, it's haizgalus, an expression of the Eibush. That's the lashon elokus. There's elokah, is the etzem hamatzel, the etzem elokus. Then there's elokus is inyanim which are not, you say, independent things. His expression, his galus. So elokus is lashon is verbunden mit which ve'keich are opposites. Yeah, we went through this point. Oh, this year I just have to remember some prat. Gedra hu shedavik im keire. Is that bekannt? Yeah, I'm saying just to get back to this point. We speak about vekas, and then you get to the hamshich. Just is that it's davok and kair. Davok haste. We say the word davok. So I'm saying externally, you say davok haste that one thing is attached. We use the attached word davok attachment, but attachment can mean that it's technically attached. One thing is dependent on the other thing. You have let's say the light of the sun. So if the b'shas shkia sachama, so there's no more air. The light, the air mispashet b'chol elam is totally is always dependent on the makar on the shemesh. So that's a technical dvekas. Nicht in dem besteht the dvekas air. You see, the Rebbe says if David Mekari means he has no metzias outside of the makar. There is no metzias besides the makar. What's the air? There is galas hamakar. In dem besteht the ganze Sache von der air. That's dvekus niklas. That's his whole metzias. His metzias begali is his makar. Dvekas means he doesn't have his own identity. Something that has his own identity, it's dependent on the makar. That's not called true. It's not true attachment. It's not true double. It means he has his own metzias, and in order for him to exist, he has to be attached somehow to the makar. Here we're dealing with dvekus means he doesn't have his own union. His whole mahus is his galas hamakar. Shmegal the Samkir. Mela the Rebbe adds here another part that I didn't mention before. Eine peil shinei klal b'amor. Doesn't peil any shinei. If there was a metzias, was a certain inyan, then it would be peil a shinei in the makar. Because you have the makar, and you have the way the makar is expressed, or the way he is connected to this specific detail, to this inyan. That's shinei. Shinei means that there's the etzem, there's the inyan the way it is in its most ideal form, the most highest leifen, and then you have the way it's nizgale in a certain prat, which is nimshach v'namakar. That's shinui. When you say eir is not another metzias. Eir is the makar, and the makar is bezgalis. There's no other metzias here. It's not that you have a makar and the way the makar is expressed in another tnuah, which then you have the way the makar and the way it's expressed in the other in the tnuah habam in a makar is going to be an union of shinui. Eir is there's only the makar, and what's eir? There's galis of that union. There's no true of shinui. It's the makar kameshu is this gala. There's no change. Ash'inkin gedra kayach is the opposite true. Gedra kayach hu shu nifred im keire. Gedra kayach hu shu nifred im keire. Kayach is punkt der hepech. What's the gather of kayach that he like I said before? It's not the pshat that kayach is a limited gilei of the nefesh, and in order for that to happen, you have to be mailim a little bit gilei nefesh. That you have certain things. Actually, a person in order to speak, the way we understand. So it calls when a person is fully as a durchgenom with his hergish. Person had a big experience. So calls man is selected by his own experience. He won't be able to be mitzamtzum himself in words, since in words are only able to contain a chelik mitzumtzum of the feeling of what a person experienced. So he's only after there's this almos of the Eira Nefesh is able to be Isis. But not from that, when you see that type of beer, it's not that the whole gather of Keach is pirut. The whole gather of Dibur. Here's the Kvech is the whole gather of Keach is the fact that he's Nifrat in Keach. What's the Keach of what's the idea of Keach? The fact that there's the ability for the Nefesh to detach itself from his own union. That's the whole gather of Keach. The Rebbe says out there is when you get to Dibur such a union. That the whole concept of dibur is a keach in the nefesh to be able to detach himself from himself and to communicate to Azulas. It's a keach which in Yoni is that he's able to leave himself. He's able to detach himself from his union. The gather a keach history different than keach means what's the definition of keach? The ability that is able to then it's going to be banging. Whose decision was it? Tzafkas and the Rebbe's in 770? The Kells, I'm saying, okay, I guess it wasn't arranged anything. Okay, good. Maybe next time, if they're still buffering. Okay, well, this Masada sent the Keller every 5 minutes, McClap, da rein, good. Nochmal? In the tent is plenty empty space. Yeah, but there's noise over there, no? You don't go into the kettle? It's tachas mosquitoes. They are? Okay, that's nothing. Good. Whoever's watching, you have to give a couple of jokes also for them. If we'll get more listeners, if we keep it a little entertaining, it'll be more good. Gather keach hush nifred from keach. Kme keach hazrika. Oh, so that's the Mahalton's in it. Yeah, gather not stand that in order for it to be keach, you have to be memayit a little bit. The whole gather of keach is the ability to be able to leave the makkah. So in a nefesh, what's the pshat keach? What's the definition of keach? That the nefesh has the ability to function in a way of detaching himself from his own unit, focusing on someone else. What's keach? Keach hadibur is a keach of the nefesh that in yoni of this keach that is able to leave his own personal self and is able to fully be in tune with someone else. Special keach. To be nifred from his own unit. That's the idea of keach. Gather a keach hush nifred from keach. It's not that the gather of keach is an ermit tzumtzum, which in order to get that you have to leave the makkah. The gather of keach is the ability to be able to be nifred from the makkah. The nefesh's ability, let's say, to be able to detach himself from inyani hanefesh and to be focused and to be and to have an effect in a davar shem b'chutzim. That's the gather of keach, which is the opposite to of er. Er is that the whole mitzias is the makkah. The whole inyan is the makkah. Mashiach keach is vaker. The ultimate detachment from the makkah. That's the nekudah of keach. The enemy godless makkah. Upel and the Rebbe adds over here. Upel b'shina. Speaking the mashal when they get the nefesh adam. So the keach is peil b'shina because the keach is not the way the nefesh is naturally, not the way the nefesh is in its natural self. The way the nefesh is in a mode of affecting something else and detaching himself from himself. That's ultimate shinu. It's not the way the nefesh is matzava ha-tivi. It's the way it's lowering himself down to be effective in something else. That's shinu. So when people come to look at their space, that's the first sibah. Okay, good. Ashmikom ki mish mayle bekeach al er. Oh, other because mayle keach al er. It's the alnamos. Who mashakeh daf kapel in nice chachos. Let's learn from the Maimer of Shira. Mayle also the Maimer before. Mayle of keach is that who brings charis. The fact that the nefesh is able to mechader something, is able to initiate something new. Not only that there are things which exist already, that they're able to be developed and able to be nisgala, but to mechader something new. That's nisgala through keach. Any peilus chachos. The keach peilus chachos. Is not peil in of chiddush. Mashiach keach is peil is peilus chachos. Shvezen nira taketh v'nikere yesrim beir. So who brings charis the takeif hamakar? The fact that there's nothing that's able to limit the makar. The makar has the yichelis to do anything. He's not limited by a certain. He's not defined by a certain form. The makar is able to uftan epesnai. That's you see in keich, not in er. In er is the inyanim which already exist that they're nizgal. But the fact that the makar is able to affect something new, a chiddush, that's nizgal in keich, not in er. Even when you speak about the beginning of in the Mashal, when you get to Sikha 7, mitzad, it's not, I mentioned last time, not the pshat, the mitzad kayach, stones fly. Not the mitzad, the energy of the kayach, automatically the result is that stones fly. He's able to affect that stones should fly. That's the Nekudah of Chiddush. That shows that he has the ability to do things. Shows on his takeoff. The VR vil is Eved Zayin, even though it doesn't make sense for it to be. Even though there's no Nesinas Magna for it, mitzad the Gdarim of the Metzias, he is able to be mechadish to this. That's the Nekudah of kayach. So that brings out the take of Makar Yesim bit. My page is a little bit. This next line is a little bit ezgrid. So even if I want to show you they know about the pile, you wouldn't know that because you have it clear. So maybe I'm not gonna. But V gates. Yeshna Beilam. Yesh Bekechel Keshel Mile. Yeshna Beis Miles. Oh, so here the Kechel yes both Miles. Side has the Miles Hakeach. The what? Shepel b'derech eschachos, shepel in eschachos as that mile, and also as the mile of which is not peil shini b'mker, v'david b'mker. So the shini eschachos yesh ma'ayin. So the keach has not stam as a chiddush, the ultimate chiddush of yesh ma'ayin mamish, and that brings out the takeif that the Eibush is not limited at all in any gedarim of mitzias. But leidach, even when you say b'mahav yesh ma'ayin, we spoke about this last time. You speak b'mahav yesh ma'ayin, it's not a tnu of gilui. Shav yesh ma'ayin is that what's the gather of Shemayim? Okay, we'll go through this later a little. Like upon him, one Indian is the Indian of Keach is he's mechadish something new. So it's not the pshat that whatever Elokus contains that's nizgal. Then it's not a chiddush. Yesh ma'ayin is that he's able to initiate something new, create something new. That's one. But Alpha Bikini, this Kayach also contains within itself the Mile of Eir. Which two miles of Eir does the Kayach contain? She'ene Pel Shini B'Mkere, V'Davik B'Mkere. Both of miles of Eir. Side the mile is not Pel Shini. You don't have to understand why. But it's not Pel Shini. And there are the other mile of Eir that it's Davik. That there's no, the mile of Eir is that that there's only the Makir. Eir Dovadi, it's Mizgal, the believable of the Makir. Mashiach said in the Kud of Kayach, there isn't a sinus of the Metzias outside of the Makir. He's Mahava Yesh, and the gather of the Yesh is a Metzias, not an extension of the Makir. Yeah, we spoke about it last time. So, and the Kayach Lamaila contains the mile of Shinu Mkir and Davik Mkir. L'chein nemer be'aloshn elekai shemer al beis inyan. In a Kayach, in a Eir. Why? If yesh nemer beis amilas. So here we're going to have to understand, when we speak about this, we have to remember this. Lamer Zen, on we learn in Venik, we'll get this tzarech lahav in Ma'u ha'hecher chazeh shekayach ha'pil benifl yesh begam ma'ila so Eir shedavik imker. What's the hecher of the kayach shelamayla? Not like the way this kayach in Evrayim, where the kayach is not davuk and the kayach is be'el shini. Why the kayach shelamayla is there's a hecher that also has the ma'ila of Eir, which is davuk imker. Later we're going to see how is it shayach the kayach should be davuk. That we'll see later. But first the shayla is what's the hecher to say that the kayach is davuk? Mitzay. Never like this. In Chassidus state that why is a lekaim lashon alakus? Why do we call why lekai is kela both in yom? Sai kayach and sai Eir. Why is a lekai kela both pirushim? It's because we're going to manage here. So how is the lekai kela both pirushim? How do we make sure that every 5 minutes there's no, every 3 seconds the door doesn't swing open and close?
Put up a sign. Hang a tile on the door handle. No, seriously, you make a sign. As the shear in session. Right. When it's up.
Okay. Okay. Good. But the elam is here. The elam is by the street. So so what's the Rebbe says like this? This is definitely a bissel meisim lev zayin to what the Rebbe says here. It says zesh yesh b'ma'ala so ershin and pel shini b'mkerim b'mipshit. It's the fact that there's a hechlet to say that keich is not pel shini. That's the verb pashat. Why? Because the ma'ilin is shini. The fact that the inyan of heder shini is a klal and elokus. Ani a violation you see. The concept of shini that there is the elokus, the way elokus is be'etzem, and there's the way elokus is malubish in a keich. That's one of the hepech ikri amuna. One of the ikri amuna is that there's no inyan of shini in elokus. By a person, there's shinui. The Rambam brings it. A person has different moods. There's different snuas in the nefesh. L'mayla there's no nekud of shini. Ani a violation you see. The same etzem of Ein Sof is b'shave. There's no shinuyim in that. So if you're going to say that there's the gather of keich lamata, there's the keich lamata, that the keich lamata is there's the nefesh way the nefesh is batz musik, and there's the way the nefesh is functioning through a keich, and the way the nefesh is functioning through a keich, it's in a different mode. It's in a mode of giving space to someone else. That's in a kud of shini. And shini, one of the ikmin of the kus is a near violation nisi. Kamin is zogin is in a kud of shini. We'll see that. But the Rebbe brings here, but shini is not mechayiv dveikus. So we're going to have to see what's the pshat. What's the pashtus in the musik of shini? If you say that you have the what's the kud of shini? That you have the inyan the way it is in the mocker. You say the benegay nefesh. You have the nefesh the way he is in his own inyan, zayin inyan. You have the way the nefesh is functioning through a keich. We say the musik of keich is that he's giving space to metzia shechutzim. Let's say it that way. So you have two modes. You have the nefesh, the way it's made his own inyan, and mitzad that there's no nisin asmagim to mitzvah shim b'chutz. And you have the way the nefesh is nisin makim to mitzvah shim b'chutz. You have the way his inyan is based amos, and he gives space from mitzvah outside of him. That's the chorashini. So there's two modes now in the nefesh. There's the way mitzad is galus nefesh, mitzad the gilei nefesh. There's no space for azulas, and mitzad is amos nefesh, and there's the keich ha'maise. He does give space for reality outside of him. So there's no lukus. You have mitzad the Eibush is Ein Sof. Mitzad is galus of Ein Sof, so it's Ein Movad. There's no space for anything else outside of him. Amash Eg Mitzad is Amos Ein Sof. There's a gather of Koyach who is able to affect Azulas. That's the Ein of Shinu. Who is able to give space for Azulas. and not the tnu of shlilas hametzias zulas. There's two modes, so to speak, in Elukus. That's a shinui. And l'chora anei violation isi. So l'chora, what's the only way to explain that there's no shinui? The only way to explain it is that the keach is also double. That the keach is also psanekuda, which is not nisin makam tazulas, or something like that. But the Rebbe says no. In order to explain that the keach is not pe'el shinui, dafner is doging that the keach is double. Even if the keach is not double, we're able to understand that in the violation isi. And the Rebbe says, "Okay, dafke the union of heder at veikus will explain to us better that there's no shaykh shini." We'll see in the end of this keta. But you see first why misvare chitzanis what mir gesagt that in order to explain heder shini we need to use veikus. Means if you say the parshat varim, why is there shini in kayach? Because you have the elokus and you have two modes in the Eibishter. You haven't said this galus ha'etzem. There's no nisin esmanga for a mitzias. Mashiachim said the tnu of kayach, which is the gather of kayach is pirut. The fact that he's able to detach himself from his inyan and is able to give space to another mitzias. B'mahava yesh. So there's two modes. That's shini. How are you going to explain that keich is not shini if keich is also double? If keich is the same tnuah of his galus hamakir, then there's no tnuah of shini. But the Rebbe wants to say it even though the nekud of heder shini is not mechayiv the nekud of vegas. That we'll have to see. So first, the Rebbe brings kamer rayis that keich is not double. But you have to remember this prat. That what is it saying to this? Why is it Elokai Kela both Pirushim of Keach and Eir? Because the Keach Lamaila also contains the Maila of Eir. Side the Maila of Eir, which is not Peil Shini in the Makir, side the Maila of Eir, that Eir is double. What type of Dvekus is Eir? Dvekus of Eir is that there is no Metzias outside of the Makir. What is Galas Eir? The Etzim is Ein Sof. Eir is this Galas Etzim Kameshu. That's what Eir. That's Dvekus. Dvekus doesn't only mean one thing being dependent on something else, being attached to something else. It doesn't have mahus outside of the Ein Sof. So when we say in Chassidus that the keach also has the malas advekus, what's mean this? Pumt as if the whole there's nothing outside of the etzim. What's the mitzias? There's galas etzim. There's a keach. There's no mitzias outside of the etzim. What's the keach? Also the etzim, which is Ein Sof. So that's the Rebbe is explaining here what's the hechach to say that. After you understand what's the hechach, it's going to be a stirah to the whole gather of keach. If keach is the etzim, so it's a stirah that we'll see later. But upon him here, when we want to say that keich has the malah of dvekas, we mean the dvekas of Eir. What's the dvekas of Eir? That there's no mohus, there's no mitzias outside of the etzim. So there's what's the keich? It's the etzim. The shas, if it's the etzim, how is it going to give space for mitzias? Which we'll see the whole gather of keich is period. That we'll see. But upon him, that's so the Rebbe's shaila is ma wa hechach hazeh sheni nifred min keich. We're saying why is it one of the ikri amunah that there's no shaykh shini in the lukas? That's your shaila. I'm saying, no, the Rebbe is going to explain it in a second. The Rebbe is saying the fact the hechrich for it is pasha, not the beer is pasha. The hechrich leishanisi is pasha. It's one of the ikri amunah. There's no shaykh shini in the lukas. The music of shini is connected to tzir, to akbala. I'm saying shini means that there's two modes. That means that you have him the way he's one mode. Once the shini, there's the chalkus. So you could take a lukus. So you have two versions of taking a lukus. Whether there's kama results if you say the music of shini. But it's one of the kermona. They doesn't have different moods. He's not sas v'samech and he's not otze. It's not only he's not happy and he's not sad. There's no two modes. There's one emes, and that emes is the same emes. It's the same nekuda. One of the nekudas is that shini means tzir. It means akbala. Shini means that you have him in this way, and then you can have him in a different way. So that means that each one is a limited. If the Eivish is tachlas ein sof, it's not shy to say that this mode of his is mukbal. You say a person is not ein sof, so he has an aspect of him that he's happy, and there you have him in one way. You can have the person the way he's in a different avenue, the way he's expressed through chveis, through atzvus, marish chayre. Then the person's a davra mischalik. The mahus adam could be mischalik in different tenuas. That's the nekud of akbala v'shini. That means that the mahus is not ein sof be'emes. In ein sof be'emes, if he's pasha b'tachlis, so it's not shy to say that it's two modes. It come up right in the Nekud of Shini. We'll stay focused there. Oh, so what's the hechad that is? The Rebbe is like this. So the Rebbe is going to bring Kama Yisaidis, the L'chore proves that the keich, that the gather of keich is period, like the Rebbe said before. But I just want to bring this point. The Rebbe is bringing the ikr, the Rebbe is saying that the keich is period, not in the Mereta nicht to prove that the keich is dependent on the Eibishter. That's not that avada. Everything's dependent. Everything's totally in the Eibush. There's nothing that's independent of him. The question is koyach, what's the mahus of koyach? Is the koyach the koyach the etzem, or it's a koyach which comes from the etzem? You understand what I'm saying? Dependent means they say the Chassidus should say the yesh is totally tummed in the varavai. In order for the yesh to exist, the varavai always has to continuously be mahava the yesh. But what is the yesh? The yesh is not an extension of the varavai. The varavai creates the yesh. There's the varavai and it brings into being a yesh. When you say that the yesh is totally in the varavai, that it's not nifrid in the sense that it always has to, in order for it to exist, it has to always be attached to its makar, attached, like say, dogim shabayam. In order for them to live, his makar always has to give it energy. That doesn't mean that what's its energy, the makar. The whole word of Sehavz Yishma'ayin is, that's a word of Koyach, that the Eibush is mahava, he's mahava mitzias. He initiates something which is detached of him. That's the only code of detached, not in the sense that it's independent of him. Detached that its content is not an extension of him. It's a mitzias of. So the Rebbe is saying here, when you get to the nefesh, Koyach is not dovuk to the nefesh. The nefesh contains within itself a Koyach. Of course, who has Koyach? Who has the ability to be mechadish? The nefesh has the ability to be mechadish. The nefesh has the ability to affect a stone. It's the nefesh, but what is this ability? Is kol inyani the nefesh, or it's a koyach which the nefesh possesses? That's the question. And what is this koyach? Inyani is uftan. Inyani is not the gili of the klolos on nefesh. Inyani is uftan. That means pirut. Pirut means his inyan is not the nefesh. The nefesh, let's say, is a chai be'etzim, is a ir pashat. This koyach is not about pshitis. This koyach is about affecting a stone. It's going to bring out a big mile. It's going to bring out the koyach ha'eschachas which the nefesh has. But the pearl, what's the content of this koyach? It's a koyach to affect a stone. That means that it's nifris from the nefesh. Inyani is not the nefesh and these guys. Inyani is the fact that the nefesh possesses an ability to throw. So you say in the course, the shaila is the pchina. The Rebbe wants to bring kamerayis here that the pchina of keich l'mayla, the fact that there's a keich lahavas yishma'im, there's a keich l'mayla which inyani of malchus. Let's say inyani is not the gilia in sof. The fact that the Eibush could create the mitzvahs, the ability to initiate a yesh ma'im. What's the code? Not so. What's the code of this keich? Not to express the Ein Sof. Then if it's expression of the Ein Sof, then you're not giving space for a yesh. The code of this keich is to be a makar yesh, to be a makar for elamis. So then that keich is not double. That means that keich has its own specific function. Its function is to have a yesh. It's who has the keich to have a yesh. Who possesses this power of Ada the Eibush? There's no keich. There's no void that there's a keich eliki lahavas yishmayim. It's the Eibush's keich. There's no question that it's the Eibush's keich. And it's dependent on him. You're going to detach the keich from him, it's garnished. But the question is, what's the content of this keich? It's not double, it's pirut. His inyan is of the fact that there's a makar liyesh. The Eibush contains within himself, possesses the keich as which inyani is to be a makar liyesh. That's what we mean pirut in Vegas. Or no, the keich is also double. Double means it has no mahus outside of the etzem. The whole mahus of this keich is the etzem Ein Sof. So the Rebbe is going to be kamerai is as nishtaz it. The gather of keich is pirut. Amazon. Mawech, as a genius. Chure bekim is kost in the keich op peil. Shaykh lacher. Oh, the Rebbe starts being kamerai is the chure. Yesh kan shiur. Chure bekim is klolos in the keich op peil. I can become a gabbai. Chure bekim is kost in the keich op peil. Shaykh lacher tzimtzum dafke. Oh, so the first drei that brings is that the Indian of keich op peil is shaykh lacher tzimtzum dafke. Means when is shaykh this gather of keich? Only lacher tzimtzum, lacher yisalmus. You see what they were saying here? Bald up touch. It says kedem tzimtzum hayein isef mal makam. The pash that var. Mit kedem tzimtzum steht in Kabbalah hayein isef mal makam. The Eibush is Ein Sof. Mitzad the zgalas of the Ein Sof, there's no space for another mitzvahs. Mitzad the Gilui Ein Sof, so there's the solution. Loi hoya makam mitzvahs elamis. The whole concept of the Eibush is Ein Sof and the Yachid and Miyuchad, the whole gather of mitzvahs doesn't exist. The whole concept of Metzias was created. The Eibush said that is lav mikol is tapasha b'tavas abshitis. Mitzvahs the herzach this Ein Sof which is beyond any musig of Metzias. There's no nesinus lagam of anything. This is the truth, and this truth is Ein Sof. Innocence. There's no. What's the gather of koyach? The fact that the Eibush has a koyach, and yani is lahavis yesh. In order for there to be this Nekuda V'Shavas HaYesh, to give space for a being, not a Lukus, there has to be the Is'amos of the Ein Sof of a Lukus. Mitzad the Isgalus of the Ein Sof, there's no Sinas Makim from a Metzias which is not him. Dafke mitzad this Amos Ein Sof, there can be a Sinas Makim for another Metzias. There's his reality, there's another reality. In order to have this concept of another reality, there has to be first to Kaviyachal Satzach Nisht Herin, the Ein Sof of a Lukus. Then there could be space for another being, for another reality. So the Rebbe thinks to the fact that he said, listen to the Kedem, the Magmas no the Sheikh and Savas Elmas Kla. Pradi says Kei Chapel Hulamata Gam Atzilis. I'm not without going into the Pradi. Commission was look close. Kedem the Sheikh and Savas Kanal, Gam the Pradi, the Sheikh and Savas Yesh. Han Gam says some else, Commission Batzil, the Sheikh and Savas Yesh. Well, they she is Savas Yesh, the Chlis, some Marishan, was in the Clauses. Chin is the Chlis, that's in Savas, and that's a protest the Bia, and must have parts the dual, if he's any movement, Me'achashim. Me'achashim says Shulkei Chapel. Nasa, they have Skat Simson by Parsadaf, Gunari Luchor Nifim Keri. In order for it to have a koyach, which is the hunyani of this koyach is not a makkah from Metzias. That's only mitzad the amos of the Ein Sof of Elokus. Mitzad the Eibishter himself, there's no nesinas makkah from Metzias asad him. Mitzad him, mitzad the hergish of the makkah, mitzad this galus Elokus. When you have this amos on makkah, so there can be space for a geder of a Metzias, which is not him. A makkah from Metzias of a yesh. So that's machayiv, that's heipich advegas. Means we're saying that in order for there to be a koyach, there is this amos Ein Sof. But mitzad is gilia, if the inyane mitzad Ein Sof, lo heyamakim lemin se'elamis. Dafki mitzad this amos of the Ein Sof, there could be a space for a inyan which kol inyane is timahava yesh. So that's already. So that means that the nivra, that the koyach halaki, which in inyane is lahavis yesh, is heipich the nekudah advegas. Dvegas means that there's nothing besides for the Ein Sof. Mitzad the Nekudah of Ein Sof, there's no space for a yesh. Mitzad the Hergish Ablikvul of the Eibishter. Only mitzad the Amos Ein Sof could there be space for a yesh. So the Chorah Dvekas is astirit to say Dvekas. If Dvekas means just technical dependencies, Avada, even though you say Tzimtzum, doesn't mean that the Keach is not totally in the fact that the Eibishter is Mitzamtzum. But we're not dealing with the question over here. Dvekas is, does the Keach contain the mile of which the mile of is that there is no Mahus outside of the Ein Sof. So they're saying it almost the whole if shortest for the concept of keich is only mitzad this almost of the Ein Sofius of the Eibishter. So how can you say keich is double? That keich in Yana Ein Sof mitzad the Ein Sof there's no necessary from the yesh. Yeah, that's pashut. In order for there to be an Islam for another mitzias, can sich nicht in the fact that there's only him, that he's ain't safe. In Kenari Luchur from Keri. Yeah, we have the Elam Azir, yeah? If we call it. Huh? That brings another raya that the koyach is dovuk. That the koyach is mitzad, that the chur of the koyach is not dovuk. Moving the chur gamin in Eishavos, me'akash, there isn't like this. Me'akash ha-nivroim ha-mishab, he-mugbolim. What type of nivra was created? A nivra mugbol. The guy mishakbol is man kiyum l'shisalfish neviyam. Sayin mokim der mugbol. Each nivra has a specific amount of energy, a specific teichem. What this nivra is? This is mayim. This is eish. This is daimim tzemech. Each nivra has a specific limited function. There's no nivra that's believable. And there's akbol also to its kamos. How long it's going to exist? Shisalfish neviyam. And who brought this nivra into being? Who's the mocker of this nivra? The dvaravaya. The keich hapel benifal. You say a stone's flying. Whose energy is affecting the stone? The keich hatnu, which is invested in the stone. So since the stone, or let's say the halgichas ha'even, there's a limited say this stone could fly. This stone is going to fly for 5 minutes. This one is going to fly for 30 seconds. What's that dependent on? How much keich hapel was affected there? The fact that it's flying is a result of the keich hapel. So according to how strong the keich hapel works, that's how long the meshach is going to be. So Al-Derech said, the Nivra, the Elamis are going to exist 6,000 years. What is that totally on? That the Dvar Havaya, which is Mechai the Welt, how much Chayis it was Mechai the world. The Dvar Havaya is a mucker for the Mitzvahs. According to how much energy he imbued the world with, that's how much the world is going to exist. So from Vanen stammt the Gvula Welt, the stammt for the Keich. The world in itself doesn't exist at all. The fact that it exists, the amount of existence that it has, that all is derived from the Malchus, which is the mucker of the Yesh, the mucker of the Mitzvahs. The Keich HaPel, which is the one affecting this whole machine. So the Keich HaPel is giving a certain amount of energy. So this amount is dependent on the Keich HaPel. So the Keich HaPel is the which is Shaykhis Tekvul, Indian Mukbal. Look what the Rebbe says. And there's like ball in all aspects of the nivra. If the koyach, which is the one giving energy to the nivra, was bligvol, so the nivra should have been bligvol. Why is the nivra mugbal? Because the koyach, why is the halichas ha'evan be'efin mugbal? Say, why is the stone only going to fly for 5 minutes? Because the koyach only affected it. The koyach had a certain limit. And that limit is going to last. The stronger koyachis, vinziger koyachis. Oh, there's a why is the world 6,000 years? Because the koyach, which is in the nifal, which is being mahav in the nifal, is a koyach mugbal. If the koyach is a koyach mugbal, that's a stira for it to be blikvol, to be davik. Davik means that there's no mohos outside of the etzem. The etzem is ein sof. A gvul can't contain blikvol. That's a stira b'nei. So if the nivra is mul, from man stammt the gvul of the nivra, because the koyach hamahava relates to gvul. However way Chassidus explains the koyach gvul and the koyach haliki, there's a gvul and the koyach haliki, but there's some aspect of gvul and the koyach haliki. If the koyach haliki has a shaychus to gvul, gvul is a stira to blikvol. Gvul doesn't contain blikvol. So what would dveikus means that the nekud of koyach is the etzem. But if the koyach is something which is shaychus to gvul, it's mahava gvul, and it's machaya in a way of gvul. That means that it expresses itself through gvul. Gvul it relates to gvul, so then it's a stira for it to be one with blikvol. Because gvul doesn't contain blikvol. You have the dvar avaya, you say that each nivra has its own set of aces. So the aces of the Evan is aces you could only bring into being an Evan. The koyach opel of an Evan is a koyach opel which is unique to however way the hezbollah is, but it's a koyach to affect an Evan. That koyach is limited. It's not a koyach to affect something else. To affect something else, you have another aces. You have the koyach opel to affect mayim. So the koyach opel is mugbal. Not only in the eichos hadover, but also in the zman. And Afa became, so how can I say that this koyach is dovuk with ein sof? You have a pashta klal that gvul cannot contain bli gvul. The same way if one gvul can't contain a bigger gvul, so a gvul can't contain bli gvul. That's the pashta. Ef shalis is just koyach bulti mugbal, davar mugbal. And wie wann it wird gvul as a koyach? Ja, they appeared in koyach. If the koyach is dovuk, if the whole mohos koyach is the etzem, then the koyach would be bli gvul. If the whole mohos of the koyach is the etzem, if dovuk means that there's no mohos outside of the etzem, means what's this being? Who is this koyach? The etzem himself. The etzem is blikvol. How is he gvul? So the fact that koyach is mugbal means that he has a he's a koyach which stems from the market. That's the chorai rai, that it's not double. This is another rai that Rebbe brings that the koyach is not double. Then the Rebbe brings another point. This part, wie is also uptouched in this part. I'm saying till now it's clear that the Rebbe is bringing rayis, not that the koyach is not dependent on the Eibishter. The Rebbe is bringing rayis that the koyach has its own content. It's a koyach which stems from the Eibishter. It can be dependent. The nivra is dependent on the varavaya. But the shad is, what is this koyach? Is this koyach the etzem, the makir, or this koyach is a koyach which the makir possesses? The Rebbe brings rayis that it's mugbal. That means that it's a koyach in yoni is gvul. It can be insaf. And al there's the fact that the koyach is only shaykh after his almos. That's right. That's in the class. We hear that Rebbe brings another point. Just v'gam mizesh and Abraham nifrad and bargashos muchrach she'efin yisabus mi b'derech pirut. Dim leiken le'ef sheli is b'hem hergesh pirut. What does that mean here? It was adding another point. L'chore. I'm saying Parsha Lashon means what's b'shteit in Abraham nifrad and bargashos. The Rebbe means you have two efanim of what's the word pirut. There's one word of pirut is even if the nivra would feel that his mitzias is dependent on the fact that the varavai is mahavit b'chol rega v'rega, still it's not vegas. Because, like I said before, a chiddush is always telling the mechadish. The stone flying. The stone flying, the minute the koyach hayad stops affecting the stone falls. But is someone going to say, what is the stone flying? It's an expression of a koyach? It's not. It's a stone flying. That's what it is. What's happening here is a stone flying. Who affected it? Who made it? It's a koyach. And it's always dependent on the one that affected it. The koyach that brings it into being always has to be there, effective in the pu'ula. But the pu'ula is not the expression of the koyach. There's a reality outside of the koyach. So when that means nifrat could mean even if the nifrat always feels the fact that it's dependent on the varavaya, but what is the nivra What is the keach? What's the nivra mitzvah of Fnei? That could be one touch that means hergish apirut. Another hergish apirut is not hergish apirut that a nivra feels that he's not totally b'chal on makir. You heard the meaning. I'm not sure exactly what that means here, but let's see. Let's touch it in the second way. What's the pshat in front of the margashosam? We don't feel b'chal. We have a makir. And any notion of the nivra, there's nothing that happens by itself. If the nivra is in a certain way, it's because he's being created that way. So the fact that the nivra is being created in a way that he doesn't sense that all is makir. Zero hergish of his makir. Not only zero hergish in the fact that what he is not his makir, even dependence he doesn't feel. He feels himself and that's it. So he's being mishavin sashav. The makir is mahavim in a way that the nivra is totally detached from him. The truth is that he's always dependent. But in what way is the makir being mahavim? In a way that he's totally detached of him. The mele doesn't feel him at all. No continuation at all. Not only in the content, but also in his hergish. So if the makir is mahavim in such a ifin, that means that the makir is not sheila legamri, the tnua of pirud from the makir. But it sounds like he's not sheila legamri, the tnua of pirud, detachment at all. You heard the meaning? Look what the Rebbe says here. The Gam is I think let's say the second test. The Margashos means that they're not margish at all. They're makir. Muchash even is abusum with derech pirut. Even is not that they're be'etzem say independent, rather dependent, but they're created in a way that there's no connection, there's no attachment at all to their makir. Not only sense of attachment to Gabi Teichan Adav. There's no sense of attachment in any aspect. They don't have any hergish of their makir. So it's, and that muchrach she'efen is abusum v'derech pirut. That the reason why the nivra doesn't feel any extension to his makir is because he's created in a way that it should be he should start a new daf chodesh. How do you say daf chodesh? A new page. The makir initiates something that has zero extension to earlier. The truth is that he's dependent, but in what way is he made? He's not made in a way that what was made has some relation to the thing that made it. The makir makes something fully independent in his hergish. So there's havas in such a. If there's havas in such a, in possession from Magash Moshe Gam Kecham Hav, so there is a zavert. Im leikel actually is beim hergish pirut. Possession from Magashos Moshe Gam Kecham Hav isam yesh eze inin is the ergets vu ergets an inin shel pirut. Means that the concept of not heder hergish makir, the concept of being totally detached, is the lashon. Is not mufrich in Sat Kecham Hav. You heard the meaning. If the whole gather of Kech was the etzem, and there was no concept of Indian outside of the etzem, so how could the Kech Hamahav be pale in a eifin of that he should create? He should initiate a mitzvah that has zero hergish to his makir. The fact that the eifin Ishavas is naif, that the Ishavas has no hemshach klal to his makir, that's a raya that the Kech Hamahav his yachas talakus is naifin. That it's a keich halaki, which means that darge, the musig of not being an extension of the is not agafrek, or there's a smagam to this phase of reality. If he's the one that brings into being such a mitzvah, that means that this concept exists inside the keich hamav. We have to see what the pshat is. But that's the. So you can't say there's homo hus is the etzem. If there's homo hus is the etzem, so that's a stira to say that mitzad that we're dealing with a keich, not only that this keich has his own content, not only has his own content, but the hergish of b'chlal, not to have any hemshech al to the makir is not agafik them. The idea of pirut, ultimate pirut, not sensing it all an extension, this makir gives in the sense of such a union. That means in him, the union is dish mufrach. The ergis initial period. Saying this is a much sharper zat. That's the last mashmash here. Before the Rebbe is saying that the kayach is he's not the word period legamri, that it doesn't sense that all the shaykh is his makar. He's dependent on his makar, but he says when you get to the kayach in the yad, in the mashal, the nevesh has a kayach to do something. It's the nevesh's kayach. Here we're saying when we're saying the last word, since the Eibishter creates Nivraim, what type of Nivraim? Nivraim which don't feel any inyan of Hamshech Yistalakus. They feel themselves. Who brought such a Metzias into being? The Keich HaMahave. That means that the Keich HaMahave, this concept, it's Kaviyachol, the inyan of no shaykhs to the makra at all. It's not argefek mitzad this keich. Not only that it's not dovuk in the sense of air. Not dovuk in the sense of air is kolin and is galsa makr. Keich is that the makr possesses a keich. Here, the fact that the makr possesses it, nish das is ein inyan. The em is nish argefek a keich, and the aspect that is from the makr, that's also not it's nish argefek the keich without the hergish that it's a keich which is the Eibishter's keich, so to speak. Avada kemen is Avada's the Eibishter's keich. But is the ergit zvud is the inyan of period of heder hergish hamakar mitzad inyan of keich. They heard the meaning. It's not that they push it, but that's the. This is the important part to remember, that the notion in the nivra that the nivra has no extension at all. This is a mitzias. There's an aspect in the Lukus, there's the argument in the Lukus, which is that inyan, there's a certainness in a smakim to a tnu of a mitzias without hergish hamakim. Mitzias. So there's an inyan in the Lukus, which means that inyan, there's an smakim for a tnu of a mitzias, so to speak. Within the lukus, not to see what the pshat in this guf is, but ergit zvud is in a period. Now we'll see. Upon him, so if he's we have three rayas over here that the air that the keich is yametzias shemachus la'etz. Shenifred b'mker, and adar but there adds here, but the yesed davar nifrad l'chein ene pel sheniv b'mker. The new madura they just changed the lashon there because of it. You were just being mismal on. Yesed of a nifrad, that's a reason for heder hashini. L'chor is fakert. Nifrad means that there's the marker, the way the marker is batzmosei, and there's the marker, the way he's affecting in the way of pirut. L'chor that's shini. The rest is fakert. Yesed of a nifrad, l'chein ene pel shini b'mker. L'chor ekleptish. Yeah. So they changed it. It's a different lashon. If you look in the new madura, they talk about this is what's written over here in the Hanacha. So. This word is gerade not. Maybe, but I don't think that it's so. Because in Chassidus it says that there's two biyurim why an evad l'shenisi. There's one biyur mitzad inyan of is or bavad, and is davak and kei. That's one biyur l'shenisi. Another biyur l'shenisi is because the keich hamahave has no erech legabi the etzem. This al Trebbe's biyur and perech chof and tanya. That's the whole mitzias of the nivras tali and the eis echad midiburi is barech. Eis echad midiburi has no relation at all, has no value. Legabi the keich hadibur legabi the machshava. You say if you have a massive body of water, the ocean. So you take one jug of water. There's a shini. You were memayit a little bit. There's still there was more. If you took a cup, you took a little a bissel zugenommen. But if you have mayim blikvol mayim, so if you take away a cup is not machzer of blikvol. A cup is not a percentage of blikvol. A number is not a percentage of infinity, of ein seif. So shini is only shayachis if you have this inyan in two versions. If you have this inyan in two versions, you have a shayach of shini. But if the kayach halaki, which is mahave velt, this kayach is a kayach mugbal, let's say, and the etzem is blikvol. A kayach mugbal is not a percentage of blikvol. So then there's no shayach of shini. Shini is if you have this inyan in two ways. You have this inyan in a eifim mitzumtzum, and you have the inyan the way it is the ma'alim mitzumtzum. But if the inyan the way it's mitzumtzum, it has no erech at all. It has no hashva. It's koloch shiv legabi the market. That's also a violation. You see. If you say that this kayach mitzades amos ein sof, mitzad ein sof, there's one song for ilmis. Mitzades amos ein sof, mitzad simsum derech sizik mitzades amos ein sof, verta kayach which is a kayach mukbal, and a kayach which is a marker leyesh. Mitzades amos ein sof. That means the mitzad the kayach halaki which is a marker for nivra has no yachas, has no relation, has no erech to the ein sof. Then there's no shayla of leishanisi. I'm not going to go into the whole prati advarim, but this different shayla is how is that shayach a kayach which has no erech? How does that come from the market? That's different shayla. But the point is that the Alter Rebbe's basic beer and Tanya is the Aniyah V'Alei Shanisi in Perek Chaf is that the Elam is Gvul. How much energy, so to speak, from the Eibusher is invested in the world? Also a limited amount of energy. That limited amount is not a Shinui because it's not. There's no two versions of the Ein Sof. The Ein Sof is one version. The Ein Sof is Ein Sof. A little is not Ein Sof in a different version. A little is Kolach Shiv V'Chlal. So there's no shayla of Shanisi. Shanisi is if you have this Indian in two ways. The Eibusher is Ein Sof. Ani Havai is Ein Sof. There's no Shinui. Either is a Keach Mugbal. The Keach Mugbal doesn't contain any percentage of it. Maybe there's no shayla of Shinui. You can ask, how does there have to be a Keach Mugbal? The Teretz is Ein Sof. So Ein Sof, there could be anything from him. Not because the Gvul is an Indian. That's a different. That's not a Stirit Shinui. Mitzad the Ein Sof could be in a way of Gvul too. That's a different word. But the Nekudas Advarim is, if you're going to say Shini Mitzad, you have him in two ways. He's Tachlis Ein Sof. Ein Sof you don't have in a way of Gvul. In a way of Keach Gvul. So if you say the whole mucker of this, the Keach Gvul is Mahavevel, is Nevi'ah Mitzad Tzimtzum V'Es Almos, then there's no Shayla of Shini. Because the Keach is totally detached from the Ein Sof. Detached in the sense that it doesn't express at all Ein Sof. And if it doesn't express at all Ein Sof, it's not Ein Sof in a limited version. It's a different Indian. There's the Ein Sof and there's the fact that it's a makul. It's Inyan Chitzeni. It's Inyan Chitzeni. It's not Pa'il Hashem. Okay, this is Zayta Gezachta, but you get the general point. Oh, it's like a point, but what's Negeli needed for the Hamshcha Maimer is that in Chassidus state that the Keach L'mayla is Davuk. What says Davuk? Davuk has the Maila of Keach contains within himself the Maila of Al Derech like there's no Metzias outside of the Makir. The whole Metzias is this Gal Sam Makir. There is a Keach, even though L'chur Keach is a Keach Haba Mina Makir, the Makir contains a Keach, and in Yoni if Keach is the ability to affect the Zulas, ability to have a Yesh, not this Gal Sein Sof. And L'chur that ever brings Kamei Chachasi, that the Keach is not the Ein Sof of the Makir. The Keach is an Inyan Haba Mina Makir, and it's an Inyan which is Ba Davkal Acher Tzimtzum, and it's an Inyan which is Shaychus to Gvul, and it's an Inyan which is Shaychus to Inyan of Pirut. So the that's all stiris to Dvekas. And so what's the Pshat V'Shteit? First we're coming to explain what's the Hechrech to say that Keach is Davkal. What's the Hechrech to say that Keach is Davkal? Let's just see the first couple of lines. But I'm saying the Elam there's be another share, or this is the holiday season is starting. Huh? Tuesday, Erev Shoshana is not the Bachar have to prepare, huh? Wednesday night is Shoshana. Wednesday night is Shoshana, Tuesday. But yeah, I have no problem to have Zeres Meshuva, but I'm not going to speak to the wall. I'm saying. If I want to per mention that. But if there's a shir, dafne besred mit dem who's we need to speak to Macher, or how does it work? He could arrange the location. Okay. So how am I going to know if there's Bachrim that are interested in learning a little Chassidus? How am I going to know about it? That's the shayla. There's Sunday night. Some Gedali people after the fast finishes around this time, but Tuesday night come and learn. Anyways, met me diazan. So is a learning a parshuras, or we should wait till the these three shuras are fine. So anyway, that's the hemsha. So the shayla over here is what's the hecher that the keach is dabak, and then must the shayla. So in who there is neis of the ikra that who am this rapon bein of davar shchutzemen or neis of the ikra that it's on, without we don't need a hecher chesichtli. It's a basic amunah that leis asar panim minei. What does leis asar panim minei mean? Not they say okay, Hashem is here, Hashem is there, and Hashem is in every phase of reality. Is Ein Sof. There's Ein Sof. Leis asar panim minei. You say a table. The Seichel will say in a table, Ein Sof is present in a table. Or not. What does present mean? Present doesn't mean that. We think Hashem is here, Hashem is there, Hashem is everywhere. Not that He relates to the place. I don't mean relate. Present means that this Inyan is full of Ein Sof, or this in this See, in a table, you ask someone, what does a table contain? What's the ingredients of a table is? Wood, chves, a color, or whatever it is. Ein Sof, what is Ein Sof? Ein Sof is not an ingredient in the table. So Ein Sof is bli gvul, a table is gvul. That's a stirit to Ein Sof. Ein Sof is everywhere. It means every mode and phase of reality is full of the presence of the Ein Sof. The Ein Sof exists on all planes of Metzius, all levels of reality. Versteht the meaning? You say a svara. A svara exists everywhere. You don't say there's a svara of a siba comes before a suba is only true in Mexico, not in America, or something like that. A svara is a davar amita, it's weird. But a svara exists in the plane of logic. It doesn't exist on the plane of physical reality. Can't touch a svara. It doesn't exist. It's not present. Its presence is in the world of logic, not in the world of emotions, let's say. Where is Ein Sof present? In logic there's Ein Sof? Or is Ein Sof, let's say it in a better way, is Ein Sof present in the plane of logic? There's a certain mode of being of logic, a certain mode of being of emotion, a certain mode of being of a touch, a davar mugbal. There's mayan, there's eish, there's ruach. Is Ein Sof present on those terms? Or Ein Sof is present within the realm of Ein Sof, of blikvul. The alternative says Ein Sof means that he's Ein Sof. If you're going to say that he's only present in a certain plane of reality, in a certain mode, then you're being magbalim. Ein Sof means that Ein Sof is present on all levels. So a table is full of Ein Sof. Ein Sof is present within the content of a table. A content of a table is also Ein Sof. The content of everything is Ein Sof. So keach hapoel, the keach eliki which is a keach which lahavas yesh is also Ein Sof is present there. It's also Ein Sof. That's mitzad the munah. It means Ein Sof mekenish magbal and Ein Sof. Al says you cannot say that Ein Sof is only present in a certain plane of being because l'shayach klal b'chinas makim beruchnis. You cannot say any hagdara, any agbala of where and in what type of being Ein Sof is present. So everything is Ein Sof, whether we understand it or not. That's mitzad munah. Everything is Ein Sof. Or Ein Sof is everything. Everything's the mahuz of everything is Ein Sof, and Ein Sof exists on every plane of reality. Ein Sof exists. I'm saying, I'm seeing the way I'm just trying to make out. When you say it exists, the way we imagine it is, there's the thing, and Ein Sof is also there. Like Hashem is there, Hashem is there. It's not Ein Sof is also there. Every reality is connected to the concept of Ein Sof. The concept of Ein Sof is durch in many others. I'm not saying it's a true thing. So Mela Keich Apel Benifal, the Masber saying that it's Helim and it's Gvul. Ein Sof is in Gvul too. This is our Panamine. And that's Al Tereb explains that in Tanya what's the pshat. If Ein Sof is there, how is it Gvul? But Al Tereb explains, and there's nothing that's not him. There's nothing that's not the Makir. There's nothing that's not Ein Sof. Even in Vrayim are not the Davar Shchutzim Menach HaShom. And that's a Munah Pshuta, Shein Tzorach HaShum Reis Vezbenim, because of Tanya. But here what the Rebbe is going to come to Marich and the Maimer is that mitzad Seichel Mochach Leim again. That not only mitzad the Ein Sof Velakus, he's everything, also mitzad the nature of everything, they need him. You're going to say, the fact, could we imagine the reality of a table without the beams on the bottom, or without a board? You can't imagine a table without a board. It's not a table. But we have no problem imagining a table without the concept of Ein Sof. The truth is that there's no table outside of Ein Sof. But that's from the point of view of Ein Sof. He's everywhere, because Ein Sof means that he has no limit, but not that the Metzius Hadavar is dependent on him. That's a munah pshuta that everything is Ein Sof. We want to explain here that the concept of keach hapoel, this concept demands that it's connected to Ein Sof. That's what we want to explain here. That means not only mitzad the fact that the Eibush has Ein Sof is everywhere, also mitzad a table can't, from the point of view of a table can't exist without Ein Sof. That's what we want to explain. That's a whole different meaning. What Al Tereb says in Tanya, this is our Panamine, is not mitzad the gather of a shulchan. That's what I'm saying. Ein Sof is everywhere. Versteht the meaning? So that will start the Yom HaShlishi.